welcome back to Ron Hasn't Seen. On this channel, I go over old movies I should have seen a while ago and watch them for the first time and talk about them a little bit. And today I'm continuing our series for Halloween on horror films, and moving out of that 70s, 80s slasher icons and moving way back to the origins of horror on film with one of Universal's classic monsters, 1941's The Wolfman. The Wolfman stars Lon Chaney Jr., Claude Rains, Evelyn Ankers, and Bela Lugosi. The film was written by Kurt Soldmack and directed by George Wagner. Chaney plays Larry Talbot, the prodigal son of Sir John Talbot, who returns from America to the family's Welsh estate upon the death of his older brother. Quickly, he spots a local shopgirl named Gwen through his father's telescope, and ends up buying a walking stick that has ties to the legends of the werewolf from her. Larry and Gwen meet that night, along with Gwen's friend Jenny, to get their fortunes told by some gypsies traveling through the village. Gwen and Larry go off to talk while Jenny has her fortune read, but she's quickly ushered out of the camp after the gypsy Bella sees a sign of the werewolf's victim on her hand. She's soon killed by a wolf, while Larry eventually kills the creature with his new silver walking stick. He is bitten in the fight. Authorities don't find a wolf, but find the body of the gypsy Bella, and Larry is now under suspicion for the whole story because none of it seems to make sense. But then Larry is later told by Bella's mother that he will now become a werewolf and is given an amulet to protect him from the curse. Not quite understanding the protection, he gives the charm to Gwen. Larry transforms into a werewolf and kills the gravedigger that night. A couple days later, after a few more transformations, Larry sees the sign of the next victim now on Gwen's palm, so he tries to leave town, but her father ties him to the chair to prove that there's nothing to these werewolf stories. Larry does eventually transform into the wolf, breaks out, is stalking Gwen on the moors, and is killed by his father, and then transforms back into human form. This is the movie that put the werewolf in Universal's stable of classic monsters, including Dracula, Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon. But it's the only one played by the same actor throughout the 1940 series of films. It's really noted for its makeup and transformation effects, which are actually pretty minor and simple dissolves between Chaney's normal body and the prosthetics. The makeup design was originally for The Werewolf of London, a 1935 film, but it wasn't used there because they wanted the werewolf in that film to be more recognizable. The makeup did take several hours to apply, but it was a little streamlined down to an hour or two for some of the later sequels, apparently. And, the theme of the film has been spoken about as everything from an allegory for the gay experience at the time, to puberty, to male sexual aggression, to the war fears of the time, and I'm not going into that. Let's just say that there are many interpretations. That's a sign of a good, universally relatable film. Everybody could find something in here to relate to their story. One of the side notes I heard, and I couldn't really find a source for this, was probably in one of the commentaries one of my friends told me about. I try not to watch the commentaries. I try to just watch these films one time before reviewing them. Was that, this part's documented that Ankers and Chaney didn't get along. Some people blame her aristocratic nature versus his kind of blue collarness, even though he came from Hollywood money. But one of the stories I heard was he got upset that she took his second dressing room during the filming of this, which he wanted to get drunk and fight in. That's the story I heard. It's completely apocryphal, and take it as which word, but I thought it was an interesting story. The film has a short runtime, which keeps the movie fast-paced, tight, easy to follow. The lore setup is simple, and the characters fit nice archetypes, which are all anchored by strong performances. It's an easy movie to watch, 69 minutes, and then it does earn its place in creating the iconic monster. That being said, it does have some issues, which really have to be accepted for the practical reasons of filming at the time of this movie. the villagers of this little Welsh town all have different accents. Something we probably wouldn't do today, but it's probably acceptable to audiences in the 40s. One of the things that stood out to me was Talbot's outfit changes when he becomes the Wolfman. All of a sudden, he's in this dark kind of work suit, work clothes almost. It doesn't explain how it happens. It's just there for practical reasons, and I think it's just there for the audience to accept this is what needs to happen. But one of the things that's an in-universe thing that kind of threw me off is when Bella was the werewolf, he was a full wolf. When Chaney became the Wolfman, he was the, hybrid that we know from the makeup monsters. I guess it's a bit of a plot hole that's not explained, but with 90 minutes, not even 90 minutes, with 70 minutes of film, I guess it's acceptable to just go with this and just assume it's part of the lore. The atmospheric nature of the film is really one of the stars, just as much as Chaney and his makeup. The scenes of the wolf stalking around the, foggy village and foggy woods are creepy. And despite not living up to modern production values, it's still great and really gets you into the scene. I've mentioned judging this by modern standards a couple times now, and that is very unfair to this film. But I am a modern audience, and you're a modern audience as well. So I have to judge it by those criteria when talking to you. But that doesn't take away from what this film is. It's still iconic. It's still well done. It's still great makeup. The Wolfman is a creature of legend, but really popularized in modern culture by this film, with its several sequels, reboots, and even plans for the kind of off again, on again, I think currently off Dark Universe films. But Universal, still latches onto these creatures, showing their modern popularity. They're supposedly getting their own land in the new Epic Universe Park. They've been staples of horror nights for years. There is a draw to these characters that still resonates with modern audiences, and it dates back to this film and Dracula and Frankenstein, all from the era, and they're good films. I've seen a few of them. This is the first time I've seen this one, and I do recommend it, despite it being a product of its time. We have to accept that, and accept it's a good movie even today, but even better movie by those standards. So that's my review of The Wolfman. Next week, I'm going on to a more modern take on the werewolf legend with The Howling. I would have done, something like American Werewolf in London or Paris, but I've seen those, so The Howling it is. So thank you guys for watching this episode of Ron Hasn't Seen. If you like what I'm doing here, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. It really does keep me going to see those numbers. But once again, thank you guys for watching this episode, and I'll see you next week.